It's time now for the Athlete of the Week, and it's presented by Diamond Point and Sauk Centre here on Mid-Minnesota Sports. And with us today is a Sauk Centre three-sport athlete. This is Simon Waller. Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
All right, let's talk about, first of all, who's in your family?
I have my parents, Jim and Jackie, and then my oldest brother, Grant, who recently got married to Rita. And then I have my brother, Zach, and my sisters, Savannah and Macy.
All right. Those are familiar names for Sauk Centre athletes through the years. What kind of an age gap is there with your older brother to you?
My oldest brother is 13 years older than me.
Okay, so you're the baby of the family.
Yep.
And the last one.
Yep.
I always wanted to ask you this. I'll bet you playing out in the driveway, playing some hoops with that gang, you get bounced around a little bit, don't you?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Definitely learned how to play physical, but I also had some tears at times.
Okay. Because they don't back up, do they?
Nope.
They don't back off at all.
Nope, didn't let me shoot at all.
All right, I want to get more into the family stuff here in just a second, but tell us about the sports that you're in and the activities that you're involved in at school, okay?
Okay, I play football, basketball, and baseball, and then I'm also involved in Captains and Leaders Club.
Mm-hmm. And as far as school goes, what kind of interest do you have? Classes and things like that?
I think I'm a typical Weller, leaning towards mathematics, but really not decided yet on a major.
That is a thing with your family, with your brothers and sisters. What's up with that you really like to deal with numbers?
I have no idea, honestly. I think it just kind of started with Grant, and then Zach followed him and just went down the line.
As you grew up in a family of a lot of athletes out there, what are some of your memories as a little kid as you watched your sisters play, your brothers play? What comes to your mind, and what did you take from that? What did you learn from watching them play?
Well, I always went to Grant and Zach's football games, and I think I might have been a little too young to be able to learn, and it was more about playing with my buddies. Mm-hmm. But then Savannah and Macy, I definitely remember all of their basketball and volleyball tournaments, state tournaments, and that was just fun to watch. Watching them compete at that high level is just.
Now that you're a senior too, and the quarterback on the football team, how did you learn from them as well as being a leader? Are you a kind of a vocal guy, or how do you handle that?
My leadership varies at times. Usually I try to just set a good example and lead that way, but at times I'll have to be a little bit more vocal and get on the guys to push harder. So
take us into a Sauk Centre football huddle then. When things are going good, what are some of the things that you're saying? And then when things are not going so well, what are some of the things that are going on there?
Really I just try to keep the front line, the O-line going, just tell them that they're doing a good job. And if we're struggling, just forget about the last play and go do your best on the next one.
One thing, too, that all football teams incur is injuries, and you've got some here on your team. How are you overcoming that, and what is the attitude of the football team right now?
Mr. Riley has taught us next guy up. So one guy goes down, the next guy's got to be ready to go, and we'll play with who we have.
As you are the quarterback and also a linebacker, do you like playing defense, or do you want to save yourself as a quarterback? How do you view that?
No, I really enjoy playing defense, and I think last year Mr. Riley kind of took it easy with me at first, not playing me on defense, but when I got in there, I was really excited.
Because now, is there a story behind the number that you wear?
Yeah, my sophomore year, I wasn't really expecting to play much quarterback just because I was behind Matthew Moritz. And then so I was basically thinking I would play some defense, possibly, if anything. And then ended up that I got to play quarterback later in my sophomore year, and then I just decided I had to keep that number.
Mm-hmm. So you're number 42.
Yep.
All right, well, very good. And as a sophomore, too, you threw for, what about over 700 yards, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, and last year as a junior, because I looked this up, 1,300, okay? Have you done the math? You're the numbers guy. Do you know where you are as far as career yardage?
I think I'm around 2,500 in that range, maybe a little more.
I think it's more than that. And do you know what the record is?
2602, I think.
Yeah, Patrick has that.
Yep.
So I would have to say, and I talked to Patrick Nabla about this, that he says, oh, yeah, Simon will break that. And he says, congratulations to you. He says
Okay.
he's a good kid. He works at it. He deserves it. So, yeah, that's I think that's pretty good. Get your name up on that board.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that.
Get a first down at about the 1. And Weller's going to throw to the corner. It's going to be a catch, maybe. Yes, touchdown! Diving, keeping his feet in, Kyle Froseth, his second score this season.
Boy, was that a nifty play. Well thrown ball.
What about basketball? As I watch you play basketball, how tall are you?
Around 6'2", a little over.
And you're a post player.
Yep.
How do you make that work for yourself out there?
In terms of...
Well, you're going against some taller guys. What do you have to do? Do you, first of all, try to be smarter and outthink them and do some different things?
Yeah. Well, I learned from a young age from, like you said, playing in the driveway to be pretty physical. And I like to mess with their minds a little bit and try to cut one way, go the other in terms of rebounding, getting position. But other than that, I just try to play physical and get them out of the paint.
Ball they lead 35-12. High post to Schmeezing. Turns, looks inside. Good position by Weller. He lays it up and in. Sox are just executing the offense nicely that time. Simon Weller with his first basket tonight. As you play 3 sports, I'd like to bring this up with 3 sport athletes. You do well in school, I know that. How do you balance that with your academics and your athletics, as much workout, the workouts that you have all summer long, and just everything involved in all your activities? How do you make that balancing act work?
You just have to think about everything you have to get done and try to plan it out somewhat. You can't spend too much time, on your phone or messing around. You got to get the work done.
Mm-hmm. Do you sense that with other people that you're around then too, the people that you hang out with, you kind of lead in that way too? Do they pick that up from you?
I guess I would like to think so, but I'm not sure.
Who are some of the people that you hang around with, and what do you guys like to do?
Tony Moritz is he's just a clown. He's fun to be around, and he's a good leader as well. And then Gavin Nelson's a good friend. And then you get into Cole Dieters and Kyle Froseth and Tanner Reelan. They're just fun guys to be around.
As you mentioned some of those guys too with the football team, I did want to bring up, since you will set the career passing record, it's not just you, is it?
No,
who else is helping
not.
you out? Who are the wide receivers? Who's up front protecting you?
Well, yeah, first it starts with the O-line. This year we have Dustin Arns and Gavin Nelson, Alex Kowski, Seth Cheetah, and Devin Thielen. And like you said, it all starts with those guys up front protecting me. And then receivers, Brady Carlson, Cade Newbert, Cole Dieters, and Kyle Froseth.
I want to touch on baseball, too, before we're done. You'll have a new coach coming up, but it's a coach, Ronnie Moritz, that you've had for the last couple of summers with Legion Baseball. How are you viewing? It's still a ways away, but you're going to be a senior now on this baseball team. What are you looking forward to?
I'm just, kind of dreading that it's going to be the last high school sport, but at the same time, it'll be a fun time. And with Ronnie coming in, he likes to push us to work really hard, so hopefully we'll have a successful year.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Simon Weller. And he lines one up the middle. That's a base hit. And 1 run will come in to make it 14-0. An RBI single for Simon Weller. As we look ahead then, after your senior year, what are your plans here for after school is done?
I'm still undecided. Seeing if I can play some college football somewhere, possibly Concordia, Moorhead, or at Morris, but still undecided. We'll see how the rest of the year goes.
Well, I'm sure your brothers and sisters, they're always talking. What kind of advice do they have for you?
They just told me to stay calm and you have time to decide.
All right. They've been good for you, though, haven't they?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And mom and dad, too, very supportive. What does that mean to you?
It means the world. Even in the middle of harvest, they're making games and coming to everything. So
I should ask you, too, since you're from the farm, you have some work to do, I'm sure. Again, how do you balance that off, and what are your chores at home, and how do you balance that off with all the sports you play?
Well, in the fall, my dad usually helps out with the evening chores, just the basic feeding of our beef cattle. But then on the weekends, I usually have to make up for it and spend quite a few hours on the tractor. So.
All right. Well, Simon, it's good to watch you play, and it's been fun. Congratulations on a record to get your name up there. Your sister's up there enough, you know.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. You have to represent, right?
Yep.
All right. So that's Simon Weller. He is the Athlete of the Week, and it's all presented by Diamond Point and Sauk Center here on Mid-Minnesota Sports.